Happy Monday, people. Did you see Rich Tech Robotics just explode this morning? It crossed $2. It went to 204 today, right at the beginning of the trading session, right at the opening. Basically at 9:30 it blew up. And then it went back down. It got shorted at within 30 minutes. It was shorted all the way down to 160 and even hit 150 151 to be exact. Look at the volume there, 56 million volume. So Rich Tech is on to big and better things. Very happy for everyone who bought that. As good as that sounds, it was up, I think 55%. It was up a big chunk today, but it still will pale in comparison to Holo. Just that's the reality. When Holo breaks to whatever the number is, whether that's 10, 20, 30, 40, probably 40, maybe even 100, who knows. But I'm all in for Holo, and I'm just happy for everyone who paid attention to Rich Tech, who've been following this channel with our coverage on Rich Tech Robotics. And one thing that stood out to me after I already recorded was the robot Adam. Okay, you think about the Bible, he had Adam and Eve. And Eve was from Wally. So Adam is kind of like a shout out to Eve from Wally. So that's a little bit of a Easter egg, I guess you could call it. Like an Easter egg. They're kind of doing a reference there. Rich Tech Robotics is referencing the movie Wall-E with Eve. And Eve looks like an Apple product. So maybe there is a connection there. Or we're just, conspiracy theorists. So that was the biggest story of the day. That Rich Tech was up practically, I think it was 55%. It was a big amount of percentage anyway. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, sorry, my accent's all over the place. I don't know why it's that way. We have Holo on the opposite side of the spectrum. It's down 10.67% after the trading session. But not to worry. We found support. I don't think it's breaking 50 cents. At the lowest, I don't see it going below 40. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but that's just the truth. I don't think it's going to break 40. This is the silver lining, however. Okay? Because Holo is due for a breakout. It's due for a short squeeze anytime, any day, any minute during the trading hours. I'm just glad I didn't miss the boat, okay? Because once you miss that boat, you got to wait another 6 months at least. Right? We look at the last three, and the saying goes, fool me once, shame on you. Right? So the shorts could say, hey guys, you fooled me once. You blew up. You went you short squeezed. You had a pump and dump back in January of 2023. So, you know what? That's my bad. Shame on me. Or shame on you. Who is it? Shame on you. Yeah. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, because they should have known better. But they still made a mistake. And the saying doesn't go like this, but fool me 3 times, and that just means you've lost the ball. You're a screw short. You're a loose bolt. You have less than you're not working at full capacity. So what's happening now? They're doing the exact same thing. They're repeating what they did 3 times, and 3 strikes and you're out. But no, they're going to go for the 4th strike. And we're going to see what becomes of the shorts. All the people shorting this. And I'm going to show you hard evidence as to why this will happen towards the end of this video. So the volume was decent. It was actually above average, so we can't complain about that. Even though it barely moved today, that was still good volume, regardless of whether we wanted it to be $1, $2. We wanted it to be higher than how it started at 50, 59. We wanted it to go to 70, 80 plus. But regardless, the volume wasn't bad. That's decent volume. So we still have to wait and see. And as for that person who said, it's fake news, It's going to jump right away. Well, that didn't age too well. It didn't age very well at all. But I'm still willing to give that a chance. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, and your portfolio won't be built in a day either. It's going to take time. So, in all fairness to that person, I'm not going to just say it was a bunch of baloney just because it didn't happen in one day. It's going to take a while. It might take a couple weeks, might take a month, might take until November, but if by the end of the year nothing happens, I know it's kind of extreme, but you know, if not by before the election, if it doesn't happen before the election, if you don't see the price go up before the election, November whatever 5th, I think, then yeah, that was a bunch of baloney. It's a bunch of BS. And let's just look up the election date. I think it's a November 5th. I'm not exactly sure. Here it says November 5th. Okay, so November 5th is the deadline. If it doesn't happen by that date, so November 5th, then that was a bunch of baloney. Okay. Typical Holo way. When it flies, no other stock will fly like Holo. Every time it flies with no news, maximum we will see. Okay, you need punctuation, friend. I don't understand what you're saying. I'll just try to insert it myself. When it flies, no other stock will fly like Holo, period. Every time it flies, comma, with no news, comma, maximum we see $5, period. Do your own DD, says a haiku, period. It's bullish. It's bullish. I mean, you're bullish. And I'm bullish too. Would not expect to go 100. Okay, that is just, you're contradicting yourself. It's going to fly like nothing else, but it won't expect it to go at 100. But I wouldn't either, okay, in all fairness. Anyone else noting promo YouTube videos of Holo? Okay, I didn't get the memo because I'm not getting money for this. I'm just doing this because I really believe in it. So I guess the joke's on me. All right, let me change my little image at the top left. Okay, we just changed the top left image, you'll notice. It says here, what is this? Oh, regarding the reverse stock split. So an interesting comment on that post. It says, I don't like it either. I'd love a spike at 100 without the reverse split, but it just isn't feasible. And I was thinking about that. Okay, but if reverse split comes, there will be a dilution, which makes a higher market cap. I'm trying to understand the impacts of a reverse split. In that case, more stocks in the market. Yeah. So what happens in the case of either a normal stock split? So we'll get 10 shares for one. But in the case of a reverse stock split, yeah, 10 shares become one. So it's a reverse split. But in both cases, what happens is that the shorts have to cover. So that's an important factoid. They need to cover. Let me just cover my own base right now. Okay, so yeah, it's true. The shorts will have to cover whatever the price of the stock is. So for example, this person used Tesla as an example. So one share before the execution date of the stock split or reverse stock split, whatever it is, and let's say the price is 1500, but starting on the execution date, and this is a stock split of 5 for 1 of share, you will need to return 5 shares worth 300 each to cover your short. So notice they have to pay what the stock is worth. That's simple logic, I think. It's common sense why a stock split or reverse stock split, either or, is gonna really burn the shorts. Now, to be fair, in Metamaterials' case, they did do a stock split, didn't do anything, so I was kind of shocked. So did that mean no one was actually shorting the stock and they were creating some fake narrative that it's being shorted crazily? I don't know. Maybe they were. But yeah, they will have to pay up, and I think that's what happened the third time it squoze, Holo, because they did dilute the stocks. Technically, the stocks were diluted because they gave, for every 10 shares, you only got one in return, right? So they were consolidated. And so, yes, there was dilution, but nevertheless, the short sellers had to cover whatever the stock was worth. So that then drove the price up again to $99 for the third time in a row. Okay, I don't think it's going to 99 personally. Probably going to 88 or 77, some cute number like that. All right, so that's all for that tab. And then regards to the relating to this post, this user writes, RSI continues to be high and the overbought, which is very bullish. Actually, no, it's not. When the RSI is low, if it's below 30, that means it's underbought and undervalued. When the RSI is above 70, that is a bearish trend, and it means it's overvalued and overbought. So let's look at that. And before we do, that's exactly what I was talking about right here. You can read that for yourself. The RSI indicator, when it crosses 30, it is a bullish sign. So when it goes below 30, that is. But when it goes over 70, that is a bearish sign. Okay, so that's basically the basics for that. So Rich Tech Robotics, where does that fall in the RSI? Well, right here, 14. So that is very much undervalued. Okay, so let's look at Holo. Where are they? They're at 50. Okay, they're right in between. They're right in between, so they're not overbought, they're not undervalued, but they're at a place that is RSI anyway, according to RSI. They are not in a good territory or not in a bad territory either, but we have to look at naked shorts too. We also have to look at volume. Look at this volume going in. That is some crazy volume. I wish I could look at the a larger chart here. I don't see it's not giving me an option. Get chart. Okay, hold on a sec. Let me see. Okay, I found a way to look back in the chart. So there's just basically this scroll button. It was letting me scroll at one point. So if I click this, it's going to take me to the current chart. So look at the volume for Holo. And I think that's just trading volume period. So we can see that, okay, that's like over 100 million, 200 million. So the volume is getting at a level that's close to a billion just in terms of volume. Let's look back at the previous squeeze, which was February, and look at the volume before that. So here it is. Look at the volume. It's not even at 100 million. I don't even understand. So the volume wasn't that high. It's 95,000. And yeah, it's only in 2023, right? So the first one is in January, wasn't it? Okay, let's look. Okay, January was here, and then the next one was just 6 months later. I think it was here, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's not. It's here. Okay, so it was August. And look at the volume there. It was only. It also wasn't that high. And the RSI was about 50. That's really interesting. Okay, so let's look at the first one again. Let's look at the RSI right before and during. So this is a squeeze. The first one went up to $13, which is 100 when you can take into account the stock split. So the RSI right before, yeah, was at 30. Okay, so it was undersold, but not by too much. It was just at the border. But right before it was around 50 as well. So it was actually steady at 50. So that's the first squeeze, second squeeze, same deal. It was around 50. It was around 50. And then once it dropped to 30, I mean, is the RSI the most reliable indicator of the action that's going to happen? Maybe. Because look, it was high. It was at 60s and then went up, obviously, because it was overbought, went into the 80s, 90s, but then it dropped back again. But right before the spike, it was at 37, so it only has to dip just a slight bit before the squeeze. Now let's see the same thing happen before the second squeeze. And I would say it started right about here. So let's see where that dropped. It only dropped to 40. So it wasn't even that, it wasn't dramatic. I can't say RSI is the most reliable indicator. I think it is an indicator, but not the most reliable indicator. Okay, let's look at the third one. 47, then went down to, well, okay, this was incredibly undervalued. So 14. Went down to 14. So yeah, this is a strong indicator here. So for the third squeeze, the RSI was more reliable in predicting this, and the volume as well was more evident. It was more obvious, and we can see the squeeze. It lasted from February the 7th up to February 16th. So that's at least a week, right? That's at least a week from when it starts going up. So when we eventually notice it go up like crazy amount, not just 50 cents, more like into the multiples, perhaps in the double digits, like $10, say, then you're gonna have time to sell it. Here's from August 2023. So it started squeezing in what date is this? August 23rd. And okay, this one looks like it only took a few days, less than a week. So that one was less than a week. No, actually, no, it was up until the September 11th, September 12th. So it was up for over 2 weeks. But as I said in the previous video, I said a week from the first peak, right? So here's the first peak, right about here. Yeah, and so a week from 9/10, so that would be 16th. Oh, yeah, it's still up. Okay, so now let's fast forward to present day. Let's see, are there any indicators at all similar to what we saw in the third squeeze? Because we have to look at history, yes, but we also have to look, and the red is sold, right? Green is bought. We have to look at RSI as well as volume and other things. So let's look at where we are today, 2024, the month of August. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, the volume is picking up at a crazy pace since what day is this? Since the end of July. And now it's just bonkers. The volume is really bonkers right now. That is something. Okay, and the RSI went down to 30, so that was good. But now it's overbought. Looks like it's overbought. But no one is selling. I mean, it looks like someone sold there, but it's hard to say. I don't think that's retailers. I think that's short sellers just manipulating it. But the volume is a really big indicator, yet there's no squeeze. So, okay, you know what? That's actually false. It is squeezing. Because look where it started. It started at 30 cents, and now went up to 70, I think at 80 at one point. Now it's at about just under 60. So it's still squeezing. It's just trying to squeeze. It's priming for a squeeze. It's like a coil that is, a coil has to get smaller before it expands. So that's what's happening here. It's getting smaller, and it's just about to expand. So it hasn't fully recoiled, but it's, if you can see my analogy, like a slinky or a spring. You're thinking of a spring. Let me get a spring just to show you. Okay, so I've got a spring. If you can see this. So this is Holo stock, okay? So right now it's been pushed to the brink of 30 cents, and now it's starting to have some momentum. See, you can barely notice that it's taking off. But this is what is happening to the stock. Soon, you just have to wait. You put more pressure, keep holding, and eventually it's going to get to where it's supposed to be. It's gonna bounce. It's gonna bounce in a big way. So yeah, we're just waiting. It's just it's a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So if you sell, that's on you. I'm not gonna sell till I'm getting at least double digits per share. We're gonna make a killing. Can guarantee that. Okay, once it springs. So I think that's it for this video. It's a good little study on the chart, the volume, the RSI, because to be honest, I used to know these things during the meme wars, during the AMC GameStop days, but I kind of tapered off and just focused on the quick fingers Luke method, which is, to be honest, that's probably the best method to use when you're looking at stocks. It keeps you level headed, keeps you calm, and yeah, I think that's it. So thanks for checking in with us today. Do check back tomorrow after the market closes. So thanks again. Till next time, God bless you all, and God bless your investments.